Hi, this is Congressman Tom Cole, the 4th District of Oklahoma, and we're doing one of our weekly chats, but for the first time, we're actually doing it when Congress isn't in session, and we're broadcasting from our district office in Norman, Oklahoma. We're about halfway through the so-called August break, and it's been a pretty busy time so far. At the early part, I came back and did some individual meetings around the district, but I spent about 10 days on a trip to the Far East, an official trip where we met with leaders in Japan and Singapore, in Western Australia, and in Fiji, and then we stopped on the way back in Hawaii to meet with the commander of the Indo-Pacific Theater, where obviously it's the largest military theater in the world. Frankly, we found a common theme every place we went. Great deal of concern about China, about its activities, about its beefing up of its military presence. Frankly, a great deal of support for the United States and a desire that we remain deeply engaged in the Western Pacific. Again, Japan, Australia, Singapore, these are all very strong allies of the United States. Fiji's, of course, an island nation, over 300 islands. It's not a major military power, but it's strategically located in the Pacific, so very important place. But again, our discussions were everything from China to North Korea to renewed Russian activity and what are the appropriate means to counter. So that was very valuable. We also had some pretty good discussions on trade, and I think we might get some good news from Japan in a relatively near future about a new trade agreement, particularly agricultural agreement with them. Since I've gotten back from that, I've actually been doing town hall meetings around the district. Those are always, frankly, great fun for me, and we get a lot of input, and sometimes people are very passionate in their opinions. That's okay. And I would invite you, by the way, to come to some of the ones in the future. Just come to our website and check out. But there's a great deal of concern, obviously, about in the country. Very great concern on the immigration issue. Very great concern on the gun issue, particularly with the tragic shootings that we had during August in El Paso and in Dayton. I mean, just events that break your heart. And we appreciate the input. I think Congress is going to have a busy fall. And we talk a lot about that, trying to finish the appropriations process. We now have a framework in the budget agreement where we don't need to shut down the government or risk a debt default. So that's good news. We hope we have an opportunity to vote on the trade agreement between the United States, Canada, and Mexico. Those are more important trading partners than China. By far, we trade more with each of those countries individually than we do with the Chinese. And collectively, those two markets receive over 40% of all American exports. So very important that we get that. The votes are there. The Speaker Pelosi just needs to make the decision. Finally, again, we know when we get back, there'll be also some discussion on gun legislation. Senator McConnell is committed to that. The House has already passed a bill, quite frankly, and is going to pass some additional bills. They're not bills, in my opinion, that are the best. I think what comes out of the Senate will probably be what's really possible. Really possible to achieve. So with that, I look forward to seeing you in the days and weeks ahead at town hall meetings or just traveling around the district. Thanks for keeping in touch with things. And again, we always value your input and your opinion. So either give it to us directly or call and write. It is very helpful as we make decisions on what we ought to be doing to make a difference, a positive difference in the lives of the people in the 4th District of Oklahoma.